Today I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about buying your first home. Hello, thank you so much for joining me, and I am so excited that you are interested in learning about how to buy your home. My name is Nancy Walsh, and this is my little Maggie, and I am a realtor here in the Charleston Tri-County area. Today I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about how to buy your home. Now, I am in South Carolina, so if you are not, that is okay. As long as you are still in the United States, these tips should help you. Also, if you are not in the South Carolina area, I am also able to connect you with other fabulous realtors in your area. Just let me know where you're located. Tip number one, are you ready financially? You need to know your credit score. You need to have a credit score preferably above a 640. Some lenders can go maybe to a 620, and there are some lenders who will even go down to a 580, but you are going to pay a lot more for that loan. So if at all possible, get your credit score up to a 640. If you don't know how to get your credit score up, I can connect you with a loan officer who can give you some guidance. I also have a video titled How to Increase Your Credit Score for Home Ownership, and I would highly recommend you watching that next. You can also go to MyFico.com, which will give you lots of great tips on how to raise your credit score. If you don't know what your credit score is, you may go to Credit Karma or one of those free services that will give you an idea of where your credit score is at no charge. Now let's talk about how much you would need to buy a house. Most people should expect spending about 3.5% of the sales price for their down payment. This is what an FHA loan requires. Now, there are down payment assistance programs in South Carolina that can help cover up to $6,000 of your down payment. There are also loans for military buyers, whether you are active duty, retired, or maybe you just did a couple years, you would still qualify for a VA loan. A VA loan will require zero money down, so there is no down payment. There are also USDA loans, which is where you live in an area that is a little more rural. So it is possible to buy a house with no down payment, but just plan on having 3.5% down just in case you don't qualify for any of those. On top of a down payment, there are also closing costs. Basically, these are fees involved in the privilege of borrowing the bank's money for the next 30 years. So they are going to charge you for that. Included in these closing costs will be title insurance, where they will make sure that the person selling you the house has the legal right to do so. And after you buy it, nobody can come back and say, hey, I'm actually the rightful owner of that house. You will also be charged a fee from the closing attorney for handling the entire transaction. You will also have to pay taxes and insurance. Usually this amount is prorated and held in your escrow, and there will also be lender fees. Closing fees are typically run about 3% of the sale of the purchase price of the house. So let's say you're looking at a house with a purchase price of about $250,000. At 3%, you would be looking at about $7,500 in closing costs. Now, you can ask the seller to pay those closing costs for you. You can also ask for them to pay half of the closing costs. This is all part of negotiating your offer. Now, you can always ask. The seller does not have to say yes. But if you make your offer financially attractive to them in other ways, then perhaps the sellers would be willing to help pay some of your closing costs. That is less money out of your pocket for you, and then you can always have a little extra money left over to even buy down your interest rate. Next question to see if you're financially ready. Have you been employed for the past 2 years with no gaps in your employment? Now, part of your monthly income, you can also include alimony and child support. But you are going to have to document your income to show the lender what you can afford, and then they will calculate what sort of monthly payment you are able to afford. Finally, do you have any money saved up? Now you can buy a house with no money down, but the lender still wants to see that you have some money in the bank. Oftentimes they like to see at least 3 months in reserves. It's always good to have a little bit of extra money set aside so when the surprises of home ownership come up, and they will happen, that you will be ready to take care of them. Tip number 2, find a great realtor. A lot of first-time home buyers don't realize that in the state of South Carolina, it doesn't cost anything to work with a real estate agent. Now, in South Carolina, when a seller lists their property, they will tell their agent, I will pay you this much to sell it, and I will pay this much to the buyer's agent who represents the buyer. So the seller pays our fees. The buyer does not pay. You get professional representation from a professional real estate agent, but you do not have to pay for it. Now, just because you're not paying for your realtor doesn't mean that you don't have the right to interview people to be your realtor. Don't just go with your mom's best friend or a family friend who just got their license last week simply because you know this person. You want to use a realtor who would be the best agent to represent you and have your best interest in mind. Buying a home is probably the largest financial transaction that you have ever made in your entire life this far. If you are going to interview an agent, here are some good things, good questions that you can ask them. How many buyers do you typically represent in a year? Well, in case you're curious, on an average, I close about 40 homes per year, and about 65% of them are buyers. Now, there are plenty of real estate agents who work primarily with sellers, so you want to make sure that you are working with an agent who has worked with buyers. Are you an individual agent or do you have a team? Well, I am on my team with my husband and little Maggie here. Which that works out pretty good for all my clients. So you get 2 agents for the price of 1. I am always the main point of contact for my clients, and Kevin works on the back side. You will receive emails, all kinds of communication from him, and if you're lucky, he may even meet with you in person for a showing or go with you on the home inspection. Another question you need to ask your potential realtor is, do you have any reviews or testimonies? These are very important. You want to know what other people have said about this agent and what is it like working with them. Go ahead and read those reviews or talk to them in person. You can always see my Zillow reviews, and I can always connect you with any of my past clients if you would like to talk with someone in person. Tip number 3, get pre-approved. If you have a bank that you like to use locally and you absolutely love them, give them a call and see what they can offer and what their terms are for a mortgage. And then once you have hired your realtor, ask them who their preferred lender is and who they like to work with. As a realtor, I have preferred lenders who have programs for first-time home buyers. I have worked with these lenders multiple times, and I keep referring them to my clients simply because they are someone that I like, know, and trust. And I know that they are going to do a good job for you. One of the main reasons to get a pre-approval is that when you present an offer to the seller does not want to take their home off the market and risk losing out on other offers if you are not even pre-approved. We don't know if you can qualify for a loan, and we don't know if you can afford this particular house. Maybe the seller is asking $250,000, but you can only get approved for $170,000. Now that is a problem. We need to know upfront exactly what your budget is so that we are only looking at houses for you that you can afford. So we have talked about deciding if you are financially stable to buy your home, finding an agent, and getting a pre-approval. Now you know exactly how much home you can afford, and you are ready for tip 4. Tip 4 is researching your home. There are multiple websites that you can set up a home search. There is Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com are very common ones. However, they are not always accurate. Many times I will receive a list of homes from my client that they would like to see this home, only to find out that they sold days ago or even several months ago and they are no longer available. That can be very disappointing, to find a home that you fall in love with and then it's actually not available. Also, by entering your personal information on these websites, you are giving your information not to just one agent, but at least 3 or more at one time. trust me, your phone will start ringing immediately. So I would love to invite you to set up your home search on my personal website. The name of it is findyourcharlestonareahome.com. Now there is no pressure. My husband and I will be ready and available to help you whenever you are ready. So until then, utilize my website and enjoy my website for now. Now, if you happen to see a home that is active, contingent, or pending, this home is no longer available. It is currently under contract. It still shows up on the MLS just in case things fall through and it needs to go back on the market. Also, when you are creating a search, you need to decide on what is important to you. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms do you need? Do you need a garage? Are you open to condos and townhomes, or do you simply want a single family home? Do you need a fenced-in yard, or would you like a view? What about the master bedroom? Would you like it upstairs or downstairs? If it is important to you, it is important to me to make sure that I get your search set up correctly so I can help you find the perfect home. When you see a home that you love, don't delay on scheduling your showing. Send a message to your realtor right away so they can get it scheduled. I always say time is of the essence, and it is very important to view the home as soon as possible because homes go off the market as quick as they come on. Sometimes a home is vacant and it is an easy show. Sometimes the sellers need 24-hour notice before showings, or maybe they just need a couple hours to get everything ready before the potential buyers arrive. It takes a lot of work to sell a home, and most sellers want to have their home show ready to make the best impression for potential buyers. They may need to remove some pets, or they may have small children, or they might even be taking care of an elderly parent. Some sellers will want to turn on the lights and open the window blinds and turn on some soft music just to set the buying mood. Tip number 5, learn all about your local market. Is it a buyer's market where you can come in at a lower priced offer, or is it a seller's market where there are very few houses for sale and tons of buyers, so there is a lot of demand? How long does it take for a home to go under contract? Do they go under contract within 3 or 4 days, or does it take a month or two before they are under contract and pending? What is the sales price compared to their asking price? Do the sellers contribute to the buyer's closing cost? Do they sell for 90% of the asking price, or do they get full price offers? Every market is different, and it totally depends on the supply and demand. Your buyer's agent should know all about the market and know exactly what it takes to get you into your new home. Negotiating and structuring your offer is very important, and you need an experienced realtor on your side to make sure that your offer is accepted. This sums up my buying tips for buying your home. If you are thinking about buying a home, send me a text or call me at 843-718-4285. I would love to help you become a homeowner. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for future notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.